Nipissing.
Thank you, and good morning, Speaker. My question is for the Acting Premier. Under the Fiscal Transparency and Accountability Act, the Finance Minister is required to provide a fall economic statement. Over the last 30 days, we've all heard the warnings made about this government's documents. The Legislature's Financial Accountability Office says the budget will not balance because the numbers are based on, quote, unlikely assumptions. Last month, the Auditor General said this government has, quote, significantly misstated the numbers for 2 years running. Last week, the AG said, quote, the government is making up its own accounting rules. Speaker, to the Acting Premier, is there even a remote chance we're going to see any numbers we can believe?
Thank you. Acting Premier, Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I reject the premise of this question and the notion in which the individual is trying to also reflect the fact that Ontario, by all accounts, is leading Canada. We have the lowest unemployment in 17 years, over 800,000, almost 800,000 net new jobs in the depth of the recession. And, Mr. Speaker, we've been very open and transparent, and we've beaten our targets consistently year over year, as attested by public accounts, which the Auditor General does confirm. So, Mr. Speaker, the member opposite they talk about expectations and exaggerations. We deal with the facts here, Mr. Speaker, and we are exceeding and delivering for the people of Ontario.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you. Back to the Acting Premier. Well, that's certainly not what the Auditor General told us last week. The Transparency Act also requires the Finance Minister to release August and February reports every year, but sadly this minister has missed issuing almost all of them since his appointment. Considering the lack of trust in this government's numbers, we can see why they choose to snub their nose at our laws. The minister is also required to publish a pre-election finance report to be reviewed by the Auditor General. The government must provide detailed accounts, the very numbers that the Financial Accountability Officer says would be, quote, not be achieved. The very numbers the Auditor General says, quote, we cannot rely on. Speaker, will the government produce a pre-election report, and will there be any numbers in it we can actually believe?
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, this is a good question, and I'll tell you why. That party, when they were in power, they gave us a bogus budget that would contain a $5.5 billion.
Come to order.
Because of their practices in the past, Mr. Speaker, we passed a law requiring that all governments going forward must be open and transparent and deliver those very opportunities for the entire province to see before the next election. We are doing that, Mr. Speaker. The fall economic statement is going to be delivered very shortly, as will the future reports that is being questioned here, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.